Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today's little video is quite a deep one, and I just heard it myself and it really made me really ponder. And I just wanted to share it with you, and inshallah you benefit from it as much as I have, if not more. The Sheikh said, and he asked this question, and he said, how long do we live in our life? How long is this life of dunya? 50, 60, 70, 1 day old for one day, 60, 70 for others, 80, 90, 120 for the oldest person on this planet. And then they pass away, and then they live another lifetime in their graves, in the life of barzakh, which we know is not just a case of non-existent. You are alive, your soul is there, and inshallah ta'ala we're either enjoying the sight of Jannah from our graves and being in the company of somebody so good looking and so good companion for us during our time in our grave, which is really our good deeds basically. And then after that, there's their life after that in the Qiyamah, that period of judgment, and then there's the life of Jannah, inshallah ta'ala, which again, this part is like a huge long period, and your time in life is like a speck, like a little dot, compared to this long time that you're going to spend in your grave, and a zillion, gazillion, infinity time in Jannah. The question here was, is this life really worth worrying too much about it? Is the little stuff that you're concerned about really worth that effort? Have you prepared for this long time? Have you tried to do everything you can to make sure that this long time that awaits you counts for something? So a good example was, if we look into our Islamic calendar, we're 1442 Hijri. And if we were to look at people who passed away, let's just say Uthman ibn Affan sort of passed away about in 35 Hijri, 35, 36 Hijri, 35, end of 35 Hijri, he was killed. Uthman ibn Affan's done whatever he can during his lifestyle to help the people in need, to better himself. He reads an entire Quran every single day, like from Al-Fatiha right to An-Nas in one day. Imagine during Ramadan, like 30 khatam he'll do. He did whatever he can. He spent his money to pleasing the people and looking after the people and raising the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did whatever he can to help those who wanted to come into Islam. He did everything he can. So he lived quite a rich life full of giving. And then, if you think about it, so 35 Hijri, and now we're in 1442. Now, it's been long, so what, 1400 years in his grave? Now, 1400 years in his grave. Imagine what he did in his short life, in those few years that he's lived, okay, will make his grave, this 1400 years, a blissful place for him, blissful transition time for him. In fact, the rewards are still imminent. Up until now, there is a building in Mecca, okay, in Mecca or Medina, it's registered under his name, Uthman ibn Affan, as the owner of the project. It's basically started off from a well that he bought from one of the Jewish occupants of Medina, and then he gave it for the Sabilillah, and then that place became slowly one project into another, until now it's a huge building, and all that money from it goes as sadaqah in his name. Subhanallah. And it's just what he reaped, what he worked toward in his dunya, in his small life. So now, my dear brothers and sisters, is this dunya really worth you being angry about? If is that person, hating that person, or being deceitful, or being angry, or being jealous, or is it really worth it? Because at the end of the day, if you're not investing your time in bettering yourself for today, tomorrow, after tomorrow, then you're actually damaging. So you're either making good or you're either doing bad. It's one or the other. And so it's for us now to keep constantly thinking every single moment of the day, is what I'm doing good or bad? Will it benefit me today, tomorrow, after tomorrow? If not, why do it? Why waste your time? There's so many people who need help. So many people need financial help. People need emotional help. People need they need people. People need people. And so there's no point of you wasting yourself going down this rabbit hole of deceit and hatefulness and anger and just thinking of things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not be pleased upon. Try and change your focus to being the positive beacon in your community or society. You're that positive person there that's able to help because you're investing in this dunya and akhirah. Do something with yourself. Do something with your money, with your energy, with your wealth, with your time, with your health. Do whatever you can that will make your life better. When you come to do your worship, and let's just bring it back to Ramadan, when you're doing your worship, when you're doing your sadaqat, when you're doing your salah, when you're doing your Quran, have the intention that you want this to be a good investment for your life here and the life hereafter. And so make it the best you can, because ultimately it's a direct proportion of the good deed that you do now is directly proportionate to what you reap in your grave and then in your akhirah, inshallah ta'ala. And you will not regret that, inshallah ta'ala. I know we're coming towards the middle of Ramadan and half of it's nearly gone. Now is the time we should prepare ourselves to actually go up a notch, not go down a notch, which is a sad reality of Ramadan. We go up really, 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 really well, and then we start towards the end of Ramadan, we start slowing down. But what I ask of you all, just to think, okay, now let's just take half of Ramadan, this coming up period of Ramadan, let me invest it for today, tomorrow, and after tomorrow. I mean, today is in dunya, tomorrow in your grave, and after in your day after tomorrow is your akhirah. So just focus on that. Focus on when you're in that moment, when you're praying, when you read the Quran, that moment is for you, for your investment, nothing else. Don't be distracted. Just zone out of this dunya and make sure what you're doing is just solely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Quite deep, I know, it just takes on the form of worshipping to a different level where you just think, my salah is an investment now. هل أدلكم على تجارة تنجيكم من عذاب أليم. This is a tijara. It is sort of a barter. It's sort of a commercial exchange. The word tijara was used in the Quran. The best of all commercial exchange, the best of all tijara, the best of all merchandising is the one that you do with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where you invest with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala your money, you give your sadaqah, you invest your time, you invest your energy, you invest your emotional help, you invest whatever time you can to help the others and be a positive light in your society. Take it from there. And I sort of jumbled it up, but the way I planned it, it sounded really good. It sounded so straightforward, and I could follow the chain of topics. And then now I'm saying it to you, I got a little bit emotional about it. But inshallah, it made sense. I hope something went in there. So let's just change our mindset to pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Take care, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.